That way when you get the...
Got it.
Okay. Wilson Morales from Black Film TV, talking to Skye P. Marshall from her current show on CBS. How's it going?
Hi, Wilson. It's going amazing. I cannot complain.
Okay, so talk to me. Obviously, looking at backgrounds that we always do, got to do our research. You've had a good steady amount of jobs for the last 10 years. There was she's working. She get jobs. So what went into saying yes to taking on this project?
This project, Wilson, was definitely in the making for a long time. I'm going to show you something actually real quick. This is a headshot that I took maybe 10 years ago of me in a pair of scrubs playing a doctor. So I'm a big manifester. Once I learned how to use my God-given ability to decide what I want to do, commit to it, and just focus and run with it, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor. And it was quite the journey, as you can imagine, because our industry is not as open as one would hope when you are starting a career at 28, 29 with 0 credits, as I did. I was just so determined. And this character, Dr. Lex Trulie, is a character that was on my vision board that I deeply prayed for. And that was to play a Black surgeon on TV so that young Black children can be influenced, can feel excited, can feel capable. I wanted to be a part of the movement that moved the culture forward.
Now, was it always a Black surgeon, or was it just a surgeon and they decided to put you on?
I know that's right. And I love the way that you phrased that question. Was it always a surgeon or was it a Black surgeon, right? Because that was very important to me when I auditioned. When I met with the creative team at the very beginning of the process, I said, I do not want to play a doctor who happens to be Black. I would like to play a Black woman who happens to be a doctor. And if you need me to unpack that, let me know. I can do that. They were just like, no, go for it. Like, let's have fun. Like, give us all the sauce. And I was like, yes.
Does that come with years of like, okay, I've been in the game long enough that I feel confident I can say that? Because, when you're young in the business, you don't have a say. You just can't come in there and start assuming and start dictating to the producers and the powers that be what you want, as opposed to like, no, here's what we want.
Absolutely. Oh, no. I mean, let's get it. I was shaking as I was requesting this, right? Because I hadn't really quite built the resume to come in there and dictate exactly how I wanted to do a role that I didn't even book yet. But I had this feeling that if this is mine, I need to let them know from the beginning that I am not here to audition for what you've requested on paper. I am here to change your mind. And in order to do that, I just wanted to tell them the small print. And I have 6 years experience working in a hospital, from when I worked in the military, in the Air Force, and then post-service, when I was going to college, I worked at a plastic surgery clinic as an OR tech. So I would sit back and watch and see the very few Black doctors be very mainstream so that their patient will trust them in their hands. And then they'd come to the doctor's lounge and be like, girl, honey, did you see? And I was just like, I want to do what happens in the locker room with patients in a way that I can still be authentic and still gain their trust. And we figured out a way to do that. I crossed my leg. Hold on, wait a minute. There we go, and we're back. These Zooms, there's something else. Okay, I crossed my leg and pulled the cord, and interview over. But yes, it has been interesting to look at what's on print as far as under 2.6% of all surgeons in the country are Black women. But you look at the nurses and you look at the techs, and it's full of people of color. So being a surgeon, especially in the United States, is very much still a conservative boys' club. So I'm extremely proud of our creative team for not just bringing in the diversity, but allowing me to not just be a surgeon, but to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, which is one of the most competitive and renowned departments to be in, is to hold someone's heart.
Usually that's what I always ask actors, is that whenever they take on a role, how much stock do they take on to the characters? You know, how much research do they do? You know, and granted, you know, hopefully we get a season 2, season 3, season 4, where people know you for this role. Because whenever people see you and they recognize you for this, you know, they want to make sure that this is not just a job and you're just reading your lines, that you actually are invested in the background of being a doctor and the type of doctor you are, you know. So like you mentioned yourself, you know, from the experience you've had 6 years, but I'm sure you wasn't a cardio, I'm not gonna even butcher the word.
Yeah. Surgeon, yeah.
You know, but you know, have you spoken to a cardio surgeon, so that way when you're spitting out this medical jargon on screen, you know what they're talking about? Because I know a lot of friends who are doctors, you know, they've watched ER, they've watched House, they've watched Grey's Anatomy, and you know, obviously part of the plot or the storyline within that episode is something that happens to a patient, as opposed to the family dynamics and all that stuff. So that way, people who really watch them, they pay attention, like, that's false, that's real, I've been in that situation, I've heard of that situation.
Right. I mean, a lot of doctors are not watching medical dramas because, you know, there are certain, you can't fit a lot of procedures in the quick time that we need to move the storyline forward. So unless you want to watch a docuseries, then have at it. But if you're watching a scripted series that not only is procedural, so you have to work with the patient and you have to figure out the problem and the diagnosis, you still have the family drama and the relationship drama and you know, the environment, how it plays a part, like the lights go out, whatever, you know. So we can't fit it all in the same. So I know I'm the same way. Like I'll be on set, I'll be like, but wait a minute, he has to get the MRI first before the CT. And they're like, girl, just do the CT. You know, we got to keep the party rolling. And it's, you know, it's television. We're playing make-believe here, but at the same time, we just want our audience to feel. And I feel, and I think that is we play a big role in the world, especially now post lockdown. When it was a lockdown and the world was panicking and scared during the pandemic, they ran to us. They sat on that couch and they watched TV and they watched films, and they were able to just suspend themselves and feel better and laugh or curl up with the family on the couch and have a family night. So I have never felt more like an essential worker until the lockdown, when everybody was just tuning in or texting me saying, I just watched this thing you did forever ago. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. No.
Well, you know, yeah, everything old became new again. We all, you know, even now, you know, some people are, you know, they've gotten to a certain place where I'm not going outside. We're not meeting as regularly as we were before, depending on the situation. So all we have, you know, the movies are not as much as there is. If it's not a Spider-Man or Lord of the Rings or something like that, you're not really going out of your way to see these independent films. Like, oh no, what streaming channel is it on? So there's a lot more competition as to what to watch. You've worked over the years on different projects, from Black Lightning to this and that, totally different range. You know, as an actress, you can never stop learning. So, and when you're doing a show like this, you're working with different directors on a different episode. How has that grown your skill set as an actress? Like, what are you learning from different directors and different writers as you continue to shoot different episodes? Is there something new you're learning, or is you just kind of go in there like, I got this, I got the feel of it? Because it is a show, it is your home for now, you know, so it's just a matter of like, who's coming in today to cook?
Yeah, no, I'm always an intern, always. And I like to maintain that mentality, not rookie, not green, but an intern. I'm always wanting and willing to learn. And with Good Sam, within the first 5 episodes, we had 4 directors that were women. And there was a different experience with a slight female point of view. And I am so used to, like Black Lightning and a lot of the procedural credits that I have, I lead in that more masculine energy. You know, I am being guided in a more alpha, you know, type vibe. And with these female directors, they've allowed me to soften my edges a bit more and still maintain my power. And that's been something that I have also rolled over into my personal experience in the world, because, you know, our work does affect how we show up in the world. Also, Sophia Bush and Jason Isaacs and Edwin Hawke and Michael Saul David, like Davi Santos, like they really pull together a lot of Avengers that are all very skilled, that it's a masterclass, not just working with them and rehearsing and playing with them and what I like to call play jazz, but then watching it on the screen while we're also still filming. You know, so I've never shot a series and watched it around the same time. So I'm able to see and then go back into the lab and start tweaking performances and hopefully just getting better and better and better.
I spoke to a colleague and, you know, I said, oh, I'm talking to Skye P. Marshall. And they're like, oh, I know her. It's that military vet, but I don't like how her character, you gotta have the sister having an affair with a married man, you know. You know, why it gotta be like that? It's like, I thought she was gonna get together with Edwin Hodge. You know, they got her with Jason. You know, so this is the world we live in. You know, this is how people are. But that's good that they watch the show and they know it, you know. And it's a good thing that, like, it's you and Edwin. Because sometimes, you know, when you watch when you watch procedural shows, it's always like, oh, she's the doctor. You know, she's the doctor. You know, throughout the years, you know, if we watch shows, it's like, oh, she's the new girl, you know, whether it be, you look at all the CSIs, one sister, one brother, you know, here it's you and Edwin, which is a good thing. You know, you're not oh, she's the Black person on the show. No, there's two of them, there's three of them, and so forth. How's it working with the cast? How's that chemistry going?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, and you know, it might be, you know, Edwin Hodge and I as series regulars that are Black, but our recurring characters, I'm not kidding you, even in my head, and I shouldn't think this way, but in my head, I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's starting to get a lot of us here now. Hold on.
Oh, small world, Evan Park and I went to school together.
That's so gross. I'm like, oh, I hate to think that way. But even when I auditioned, Edwin and I were both at our network test for that final audition. And we both were like thinking like, well, only one of us is gonna get it, you know? So when both of us got it, it was just like, okay, all right. Everybody that took that opportunity when they won an award and got on the stage, like Viola Davis, rather than thanking their friends and family, they took that opportunity to create awareness that there needs to be change. I'm seeing the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want that.
And I'm living it.
You want there to be two or more, because a lot of times it's easiest for us to say, you know, and I hate to say it, but I've been covering film and television for a lot of years. And the thing I see is that whenever there's like one Black person on a show, they don't get as much visibility. Unless they're the lead, they don't get as much visibility as they should. When there's two or three of them, you know, it gets noticed. But when it's one, it takes a lot, because as I said before, having watched TV over the years, whether it's Candy Alexander on CSI Miami, you know, and then you look at the other shows, oh, it's Rocky Carroll on NCIS, you know, it's LL Cool J on NCIS LA. It's like, oh, there's only one person. Thankfully, they got a prominent role that you know who they are, and the shows have lasted long enough. But it's a shame that it's like, oh, why only got to be one, you know? And like you said, you go in there thinking like, okay, it's me and a brother as opposed to me and two sisters.
Absolutely. But you know what? The beautiful thing is that when you have an ensemble cast, and your ensemble cast is usually 5, 6 people as far as the series leads, the beautiful thing is not only is it one Black person, but now there's a seat at the table for an Asian person. There's a seat at the table for a Latino person. There's a seat at a table for, you know, while Asian, I'll also say an Indian person, you know, and then you got your white, and, you know what I mean? So like, that's pretty much the Good Sam cast. It's not just one Black actor and a bunch of white people anymore. Everyone is starting to get a seat at the table. And that's the rainbow that we want to see on network television, because on network television, that is the antenna community. and a large portion of antenna community is middle America, right? So we have to be able to cater to everyone. And I am seeing the change that is necessary. Now, if a script requires a cast to be Black, right? But when it comes to a hospital like Good Sam, I want to read the rainbow. I want to see it all. I want to see the variety, especially since our series is based in Detroit. And so I get to have that on this show, from the patients to the extras, to the crew, to our guest stars. It's a beautiful thing to see, thinking of where I started 12 years ago to where we are now. So I'm very happy to be on Good Sam. It airs every Wednesday night for another 7 episodes, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. If you haven't seen the first 5 episodes, you can catch it on the Paramount Plus app or the CBS app. And yeah, we're at episode 6, February 23rd.
I used to always say, Obi-Wan has taught you well. You know, she has it down pat. Skye, it's been great talking to you. Obviously, we want to get this out, let people know that, hey, it's a show to watch, not only because you're on it, but Sophia, you know, I've watched her background. Evan Park is a friend of mine, you know, so like we go back a long way. So like I made sure I definitely gave you a plug when it first aired on social media. So keep doing your thing. We're here to support wherever you are. Stay safe, stay strong, take care of yourself.
God bless you too, Wilson. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.